Welcome to the October 2025 business meeting. We always do it in October.
This month with us, we are so excited to have Claire Howell of Balcony Box. Claire is the owner of Balcony Box, a regenerative gardening business in Dallas that helps people grow their own food at home and in underutilized spaces in our community. She also leads the Creation Care Ministry at Disciple City Church and the Eagle Ford Community Garden in West Dallas. As a master gardener, master naturalist, and herbalist, Claire is dedicated to ecological stewardship, building community and reconnecting people with the land through sustainable practices, education, and outreach. And we found Claire through Lorraine Hellinghausen, who saw her speak at the Dig Summit. And she's been instrumental in helping plan the Dig Summit that starts tomorrow. So if you're going to that, you'll see her. So let's give a big hand for Claire and welcome her.
I'm so excited to be with you all today. That was a really kind welcome. I am a master gardener. I am a little ashamed to say this is my first meeting though, so I probably am unfamiliar to a lot of y'all. And I'm so glad that I'm finally here. It's been my desire to gather with y'all, but I just haven't been here. So here we are. I'm really excited to get to share with you about a passion project of mine through my business. We're doing some really awesome stuff, partnering with some really neat people, and I'm excited to share that with y'all today. First, I want to tell you a little bit about our business. So this is me in the garden. You've already seen that picture. I get really excited about things I pull out of the garden, as you can see. So my business is called Balcony Box. We exist to teach people how to grow food sustainably at home. We started in the middle of the pandemic, June 2020 to be specific, and if you remember back in those days, food was flying off of the shelves. Do y'all remember that? A lot of my friends were coming to me being like, Claire, you know how to grow food. What are we gonna do? There's literally nothing for us to get at the grocery store certain days of the week, y'all remember. So that was how we started our business. It was really kind of a response to COVID. It was already something I was really passionate about. But it was a response to COVID of wanting to help our community be more self-sufficient if these kinds of things were to encounter our community again. But also, you all know, gardening is something that kind of changes us, right? It's something that connects deep within us. And we're going to talk about this more in the presentation later on, but we really believe that gardening has a way of bringing holistic well-being to people and communities. So while it was a response to COVID, there were some other aspects that we really believe are going to bring a big impact to our community. So how do we do this? Well, hence the name Balcony Box. We started with balcony boxes. Our vision was to see more apartment complexes in Dallas with greenery all over them, and ideally food, of course, given kind of the nuance that we were in 2020. But you can see some of these boxes that we have put together. We do make those. They're from North Texas cedar, so it's kind of a full, fun, whole cycle thing. But our vision was really to give people high quality materials, so they didn't have to go to Home Depot or North Haven or whatever it might be, and stand in front of the 7 bags of soil and try to figure out which one they needed and what the differences were and all of that. We could kind of give them a really quality setup so that they would have, fewer issues, at least with the infrastructure of their garden. We typically start them off with herbs because, as y'all know, those are typically the more resilient ones. They need a little less attention. They're a little more forgiving. So that's what we get people started on. As they mature as gardeners, we do increase the difficulty level, if you will. And we also have a membership as a part of that. So our hope was not that people would go and spend all this money with us to get set up or whatever it might be, and then it's like, good, you're on your own, good luck. We really wanted to develop a relationship with folks. If you've grown something, you know that it's not always puppies and butterflies, right? Something is bound to go wrong at some point, and we want to walk alongside people and help them overcome those challenges so they realize it's not just them, that it's not their fault necessarily that something went sideways. I hear from a lot of clients, I have a brown thumb. I'm never going to be able to grow anything. And it's like, well, there might just be some educational components that you missed that we can help, connect you with to solve those problems in the future. So our desire is that these folks in the picture, they're teaching the next generation and then the next generation. This becomes something that we embrace as a culture, as a way of being. That's not just a hobby that kind of comes and goes. We do also do a lot of workshops. I currently partner with the city of Dallas to do a bunch of different programming where we're teaching people how to grow and use food. We have a growing wellness program that's also more focused on the herbalism side of things. So if you're interested in those, I do have 2 left for the year. We're doing elderberry and we're doing fire cider. So those will be really fun coming up this fall. As our business matured, it did expand into homeowners. We had a lot of folks who were like, great, that's awesome, you're doing the balcony thing, can you help me at home? And while we do kind of from scratch garden setups where we might, dream with the homeowner about what a garden could look like and help them install it, one of my favorite things to do is to help troubleshoot problems. So this is a client up in Preston Hollow. She has this gorgeous garden, isn't it amazing? That keyhole style, it's so pretty. There's a fountain in the center and it's just a little oasis. But unfortunately, after spending a lot of money getting that thing installed, the soil that they put in was terrible. So she went from having a not quite as pretty garden that was thriving to investing several thousand into this beautiful space with soil that was totally dead. So she was devastated, and we got in touch through a friend, and we were able to help remedy her soil, and these are some pictures from the last year. It's really fun. Y'all probably experienced this too, those of you that help with answering questions in the community. It's really amazing to get to be part of helping people overcome challenges and see beautiful things come from it. So these were all great, but it did leave me wondering, there's some things in our city that I think could really be impacted for good through gardening. And so I started thinking through how could we make that happen. So I want to share with you 3 problems that we've identified in our community that we thought gardening might be able to speak to, and then share with you our solution. So the first one, lack of healthy food access. That photo kind of captures it, right? We for sure have a lot of access to that kind of food, right? Chips and candy and soda and all of those kinds of things are what we have in our corner and convenience stores. But really when we look at this problem, I will say, first of all, I'm not a food systems expert. I'm, boots on the ground, quite literally, working in this space. But from where I stand, from what I've observed, we have 2 kind of big problems. The first, at a national level, is we have a problem with what type of food we're valuing and distributing to our communities. And that is a lot of processed and ultra-processed foods, right? When we go to Kroger's or a different grocery store, what do we see a lot of? Packaged food, right? And there's a lot of data coming out that's showing that those are the foods that are really significantly linked with a lot of the chronic diseases that our communities are experiencing. So we have that as a problem. It's lack of access to quality food, even if we have a grocery store. But the challenge is we also have a proximity issue in Dallas. This is a very local problem too. Y'all are probably familiar. There are a lot of problems with true proximity, geographical proximity to grocery stores, specifically in South and West Dallas, where people have to go more than a mile to a grocery store. And if you don't have a car, our bus system isn't that great in Dallas, right? If you don't have a car and you have to go more than a mile and you have to carry your groceries, is that gonna happen? Not really, right? It's hard enough to carry just 2 bags, and if you're feeding a family, you've got a lot of bags to carry, more than a mile each way. That becomes totally inaccessible to you. So y'all are probably familiar with the Dallas Climate Action Plan. It's a huge part of an initiative in our city to make our community more holistically healthy. They've identified that over 1/3 of Dallas residents have this issue. Lack of access to healthy food, 1/3. That's a lot of people. As I was thinking about this metric though, I was like, okay, what does that look like? How do we make sense of that? And I feel like this map is pretty helpful. I'm gonna see if we've got a little, let's see. Yeah, here we go. So we've got like center of Dallas over here. We've got Fort Worth over here. You can see Mineral Wells, kind of to give you a little bit of framework, and 635 rolling around here. The dark green on this map is indicating where the highest need for food access is in our community. And it's all primarily in the outskirts of Dallas or in South and West Dallas, right? That's not surprising to us if we know kind of how our city operates. But this map is capturing, it's an index map, it's capturing a lot of different demographic values and creating a statistical analysis to capture income, household size, geographic location, many different factors that might speak to someone's level of food security. So this is an even perhaps more well-rounded number than our 1/3. And y'all can see that dark forest green indicates the highest level of need measured. And we have a lot of our community registering as high levels of food insecurity. It's a pretty serious issue. So again, going back to our frame of work, our mindset, our framework, how can gardening speak to this? My mind kind of started to get thinking about that. Problem 2, though, before we get to our solution, there's a huge disconnection from nature in Dallas, is what I've observed. I'm from Vermont, which is why I don't sound like a Texan. If y'all have been to Vermont, especially at this time of year, you know it's glorious. The photos are literally not photoshopped. It's totally amazing. And so Dallas is a little bit of a culture shock for me. So I do have a little bit of bias. You know, I can go on a trail in Vermont that no one has gone on for 30 days, and that's pretty normal because there aren't many of us. Coming to Dallas, it's not quite the same. But what I've heard from local fellow Dallas folks is that people don't feel connected to nature. Part of us in this room, we're trying to change that, right? The master naturalist says, well, we're trying to reconnect people with nature. There might be a lot of reasons for that. First and foremost, it's we live in a city. It's just a math problem, right, of space for people and for nature to exist. But I've also observed that a lot of our parks and natural spaces aren't always well taken care of, right? We're trying to change that. White Rock, this picture down here in the bottom is from White Rock Lake in 2016. It's way better than it used to be. There are a lot of initiatives that are now cleaning up White Rock Lake. But I remember when it looked like that, and y'all probably do too. And there's a little bit of alienation that happens between us and nature when the nature we're encountering looks like this, right? We don't feel safe. We don't want to sit down. We don't want to engage with the wildlife that we see because we feel a little bit of danger, perhaps. And so what I have observed, and again, I don't have data to back this up, but what I have observed is there's a disconnect. And some of the things that come when we are disconnected from nature is we start to see mental health challenges. We might start to see a lack of care and stewardship of our place. We might see more transiency because people aren't feeling as at home in our city. These are my hypotheses, so feel free to push back, but this is what I'm observing. And this kind of goes into problem number 3. I've noticed this in Dallas, but I've also talked to friends all over the nation, and these numbers don't seem all that crazy from what I'm hearing. Y'all have probably heard about the CDC's study saying that we have a crisis of loneliness and isolation, particularly post the pandemic, right? They have said that 1 in 3 people, again, 30% of our population, is struggling with loneliness. And even more so, to take it further, 1 in 4 people say, if I were to lose my job tomorrow, I don't have anyone to help me. What? 1 in 4 people feel that level of isolation. So again, I'm thinking, okay, how can gardening change this, right? The second stat down there at the bottom says 50% of adults experience stress in daily life. It's funny, when I read that fact, I was like, well, yeah, of course. We all experience stress every day. What do my friends say when I ask them how their day was? It was stressful. That's what we've just come to say. But I think when we look at the whole scheme of human history, that's probably not a normal, healthy statistic. Would you agree? Something that we could maybe hope could be different. So, what I've been teeing up this whole time is our solution that we're working out right now in partnership with Worth Street Partners. I'll tell you a little bit about them on the next slide. But it is this idea of managed community gardens on multifamily housing properties. It's really fun. So let me tell you a little bit about Worth Street Partners. They're the folks that we have partnered with for our first 3 apartment gardens. They are located here in Dallas. They're out of SMU MBA training programs. They're an amazing team. They're a really small local team who cares a lot about their community. They're all about trying to bring dignified living, healthy living, holistic living to low-income spaces. So they were the perfect partner for us because they were excited to think outside the box about how they could care for their residents in creative ways and really make an impact on their lives. while still offering rent at a low, affordable price. You can see one of their properties right there. They're really beautiful properties. So these are the 3 gardens that we've started. The first one is Wynwood Gardens. We started that one last August, 2 Augusts ago. It's already October, I can't believe it. So it's a little more than a year, about 14 months old. It is Zhang in Illinois, if you're familiar with Oak Cliff intersections. It is officially low-income housing. It has so many units, it takes up several city blocks. It's a really big property, and we've installed a beautiful community garden right there on property. And shout out to Grow North Texas, actually. Hi, Helen. Giving Grove partnered with the owner, Matthew Flume, to put in 25 or so fruit trees on the property through Giving Grove on Thursday. So I had already made my presentation at this point, so I couldn't add more stuff to it. But now, in addition to the raised boxes that we put in, we also have amazing fruit trees for the community. Super neat. Coco Luau is the next one. That's the middle photo. This one is over by Love Field. It is also considered low income, and this property doesn't have a lot of access to the ground. It has a lot of concrete. So we had to get creative with how we could bring plants to this space. So you can see we built these really beautiful platforms, and then we used 5-gallon buckets to fill with plants. So the hope here was that this could be an example to the community of, hey, this is how you can grow food. You need a $5 5-gallon bucket from Home Depot. You drill holes in the bottom, fill it up with potting mix, and great, put a mustard green in there and you're golden. So we're trying to model that for them, but also create a space for people to enjoy community and food right there in the center of their complex, despite lots of concrete. And then finally, Westwood. This is over Webb Chapel and Northwest Highway, so kind of on the outskirts of that Love Field community, also low income. This community is highly Spanish speaking, so a little bit of a different demographic than the other two. It has been very well received. This garden is only 4 months old, and the community has completely taken ownership over the space, which has been so much fun. You'll get to see some pictures of them later. But this is another awesome spot. It's about the same square footage as Wynwood Gardens, but just as you can see, kind of in a long, skinny setup. So I have a little video I'd like to show y'all that captures what we've been doing. Right. Aw. Thanks, y'all. It's pretty fun to see those smiling faces and the impact that it can have. And again, This really isn't an old program. We've only been doing this for 14 months, and we're already seeing some huge impacts. So I want to highlight 3 things that we're seeing that the video has kind of shared with you. Those folks have shared their testimonies and captured a lot of it, but just to kind of highlight what we're seeing and then what we expect to see. So first off, kind of basic, right? We have vegetable gardens. We're seeing these gardens nourish people. And my perspective is, if we can grow organic, nutrient-dense produce and then straight from the garden give it to people, and then it's going straight on the table 2 hours later, that's about the most nutrient-dense, healthy food that somebody can get, right? It tastes amazing. It has the most amount of nutrients in it because it doesn't have that long transportation time that a lot of our vegetables and fruits have that are at the grocery store. Not to mention that they were picked early before they were ripe, so they don't have the fullness of all of their nutrition developed while they're on the vine or on the tree. So we really believe that we're not just giving produce, but we're giving like the best of the best to perhaps people in our community that don't typically get the best of the best because of the circumstances in their life. So it feels like a huge honor, and it's unconventional perhaps, and it's been really amazing and had a huge joyful impact on the people that we're serving. So you can see some of the pictures. We do grow a variety of different things. We try to organize by vegetable so that people have clarity about what we're growing. You did see in the video, we have some signage for each plant. So that's in English and Spanish. And then we have QR codes that then link to a lot more information about the plants so that people know what they're working with, how to harvest it. If they want to know how to grow it, they have that information. And then ideas about how to use it in the kitchen. So really trying to close those gaps for folks. And then next, this kind of speaks to the lack of connection with nature in Dallas. So we really have seen these gardens create beauty and create a safe space for people. Y'all saw Lavea saying, hey, I come here right after school, right? This is in Oak Cliff, that she comes here after school and plays by herself or with her little brother in an outdoor nature-oriented space. I did that when I was a kid in rural Vermont, but not a lot of kids in Dallas get that opportunity to play by themselves in a beautiful, natural space because it's actually safe and engaging for kids. So we've seen that happen. But I have highlighted here create beauty, and this is something that really caught me by surprise. I love beautiful things. Y'all probably love beautiful things, but I didn't really think anything of that. And at Coco Luau, the one that has the bucket garden, the one that doesn't have a lot of green space accessible, I had a gentleman come down with tears in his eyes and say, we're just not used to beauty where we live. And honestly, that really shocked me. Like, I just didn't even know what to say. But as I kind of chewed on it, I'm like, yeah, our pattern in our city, right? And this is kind of the pattern in most places that I'm aware of. In more low-income spaces, typically that translates to less beauty. And I think when we incorporate beauty in our spaces, there's something dignifying, humanizing that happens. And that is a really cool outcome that came from it, but I've just been standing in awe because it was not part of my plan or part of what I expected to find. So I'm kind of still chewing on that, but I wanted to highlight that to y'all, that that's been an amazing impact. And then finally, as expected, you guys know this, when we're out in the garden, what happens? All of our worries go away, unless there's an impending freeze and you have to get all of the plants covered with frost cloth or something along those lines. But on the whole, typically being in the garden alleviates our stress, right? We've seen that. You heard Miss Sylvia say, literally, this is like therapy for me. And she tells me that every time she comes to the garden. It was such a stressful day. I just wanted to sit on my couch, but I knew I had to come to the garden and I'm gonna feel so much better after. And I'm like, this is amazing, so good. But she also highlighted how it creates this companionship and this camaraderie between the neighbors. Specifically with Miss Sylvia, you may have seen with the sweet potatoes. There were a few ladies that were helping with the sweet potatoes. And it's basically 3 generations. It's Miss Sylvia, I think she's about 70. And then there's a gal who's about 35. And then it's her daughter, who's about 7. And her daughter, Adriana, comes every single time we're out at the garden, and she says this is her absolute favorite thing she does. She comes in her school clothes, she brings her friends, she's like, I just can't wait to go to the garden, this is so fun. And she's able to take responsibility and ownership over things that a lot of other 7-year-olds couldn't do. So it's been a really awesome space for community, but also for her, learning life skills and responsibility. So let me tell you a little bit about how it works. I've already kind of captured some of this, but in terms of my relationship with Matthew at Worth Street Partners, we really view each other as partners. So this is not a vendor relationship where they're hiring me and they forget about it and they're like, great, Claire, you do your thing. We see each other as partners. And our hope is really that we're creating an amenity for his apartment complexes that's beneficial to him, to the community, et cetera, but that we're also strengthening like the ethos of the residential community, right? This isn't just a sterile thing like a swimming pool. It has this communal impact. There can be a communal impact to a swimming pool, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like there's a little bit more intentionality around like the programming of getting folks to be together. And one of the main ways that we do that is we need to care for the garden, right? You can't plant a garden and leave it and forget it like some folks want to. You have to be out there regularly. So we delegate tasks to different residents, but then we show up every 7 to 11 days to make sure things are on track, make sure fertilizing is happening, make sure we're checking for pests. Some of the things that maybe someone who is just getting involved in gardening might not have the eye for just yet. And when we do that, we send out all of that information to the residents' staff, and they send it out to all of the residents to say, hey, we're gonna be out at this time from this time, come join us, and it serves as a community engagement event. So it's not super formalized. I just come with a list of tasks and a bunch of supplies, and we set people up with different tasks and responsibilities, and we get the work done together, we harvest together, people take the produce home, and it's wonderful. We've really seen relationships be forged with neighbors who didn't even know each other's names before this. And then from a few other aspects of community engagement, I mentioned that we grow a variety of different vegetables. We have been really intentional about trying to grow produce that is relevant to the residents that live there. So we do surveys, we also have informal conversations to just always be checking in and making sure that we're refining what we're offering. Because if we grow collard greens all day long and nobody wants collard greens, what good is that doing, right? Truly. So we're trying to expand our offerings, especially at Westwood. We have several folks from Guatemala and other countries in South and Central America who are looking for specific produce that they can't find at grocery stores. So that's my hope for the next iteration, is that as we expand, we're able to offer things that give someone a wink of home, right? For someone from Jamaica to have callaloo greens, when they can't find that anywhere, maybe on the other side of town where they have to drive 25 minutes, but it's probably wilted because nobody's growing it in Dallas. So what are ways that we can make people feel at home, welcome, and like they belong through what produce that we grow? And then finally, we do distribute the produce to the neighbors. I mentioned we do that at the work days when we invite the community in, but we do also reserve some produce to give to like the front desk, and then they bag that up and they give it to the residents who need it most, who might not be able to attend the work days. So our hope is really to connect the people who are doing the work with some produce so that they can have that holistic experience, but we do want it to be accessible for the people who are really in need of the food. So, as you can see, I'm pretty convinced that this has power to transform communities. I'm seeing the benefits in the people. I'm also seeing the benefits in the land. These are places that, you know, don't have a lot of native plants, don't have much other than boxwood and Bermuda grass. And we're seeing monarchs come back and other critters that are kind of surprising and fun. So I'm seeing the land be restored too. We use all regenerative and organic practices as much as we can in that effort to bring the land back to life and to give back to it and not just take from it. But I also believe that this is good for business. And of course it's good for my business, that's what I do, right? Of course. But from a multifamily housing perspective, we do really believe that this is beneficial for business. People are happy, people are connected, people feel safer. They don't want to move. What does that mean for an apartment owner? People stay, right? That means less shenanigans for their team to backfill spaces. There's less turnover, there's less vacancies. People know each other better, so there's less crime. So we really believe that while I can't give you, an exact number on a P&L statement of how this is going to directly translate to profit for our apartment complex owners, we do really believe that this is a very sustainable, relatively low investment way to actually improve and enrich their business by enriching their people. So, if you're excited about this, I do want to let you know different ways that you can help. I am looking for other partners in the multifamily housing space or in the community development space. We're definitely open to community gardens on other properties as well. So if you know any owners or any managers that might be interested in talking with us about this, please connect me. I would love to have a conversation. We're also looking for funding because although we believe that this is going to improve the bottom line for these businesses, there's a little bit of an on-ramp, right? And this is a little bit of a swimming upstream sort of situation. So we are looking for financial partners, grants, things like that. So if you know of anything, please let me know. We have taken advantage of a few Dallas County and City of Dallas grants, but we're interested in more. So if there are ways that y'all know that we could find more financial support, please let me know. Do you have any questions about yeah, go ahead. I build the boxes, actually, myself. Yeah, believe it or not. I know I don't look like I do, but I do. Yeah, so it is yours truly who does a lot of those. Since we only have 3, that's well within my bandwidth to kind of be captain on that. But the city actually has an awesome program called the Growers Education Workforce Development Grant. I don't know if y'all have heard about that. But I have 2 or 3 interns who are working with me, being paid by the city to learn how to do projects like this. So it's a win-win for everybody. So they're out there with me as well. I'm very open to volunteers. We are working with kids and things like that. So when I've had volunteers come out, we do background checks and that type of thing just to make sure that all of our boxes are checked. But absolutely, we're definitely open to that. Any other questions? Y'all are so engaged. I appreciate it. Any other questions? Okay, wonderful. Well, let me just progress the slide. This is my contact info. If you're interested in on Instagram, you're welcome to follow along. We do post updates about our gardens and other things that we're working on there, so feel free to follow that QR code. I think you've already had access to it, but my email and my website is also there. Happy to stay in touch. If anybody comes to mind who we can partner with, we're definitely interested. But yeah, thankful for your support and excitement, enthusiasm around the projects that we're doing, and thank you so much for the time to share about it.
Before Claire goes, we really want to say thank you. Wasn't that a great presentation? Okay, the annual meeting is basically to elect officers, directors at large, Texas Master Gardener Association directors, and alternates, and members of the nomination and financial review committees. Members in good standing will be able to vote because they have paid their dues and they have completed their certification and recertification requirements. Please welcome our past president, she's done this a couple times, Abby Ballich, to the stage.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's so nice to have you all here. I would like to place the following slate of candidates for nomination for the term of January 2026 to December 2027. Per our association bylaws, nominations will be accepted from the floor at the annual meeting, provided that the nominator and nominee are both members in good standing, and that the nominee is present and consents to have his or her name placed into nomination. Are there any nominations from the floor at this time? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. There being none, we will continue. Candidates, if you are present, would you please stand when I call your name? I would like to make a motion to elect the following persons. Amy Monroe, Director at Large, Awards and Recognition. Elizabeth Fabian, Director at Large, Outreach. I don't think she's here today. Janet Lind for Financial Review. And 2 wonderful young ladies for nominating committee, Maggie Saucedo and Lisa Reese. Okay, alrighty. I would like to make a motion to elect the following. Okay, all in favor, please raise your hands. Thank you. All opposed? The motion passes. I would like to thank the nominating committee, Fern Brown, Margaret Horansky, Helen Dulac, and Kathy Gump for their contributions and help in finding this slate of candidates. And I would also like to thank the directors and committee members who are being replaced for the outstanding leadership they have brought to the association during their term. So thank you very much.
In the back, there is a table that you can scan the QR code to pay your 2026 DCMGA dues today, and also you could pay by check, okay, if you want to. The Rain Catchers Jam and Jelly sale, you will be able to purchase through Sign Up Genius from November 1 through the 10th. The pickup dates is November 18th, and you will pay by check or cash at time of pickup. Please welcome our 2026 Garden Tour leader, Hank Hammett.
Thank you so much. Yes, hello everyone. I am Hank Hammett, and I am a member of the Master Gardener class of 2024. I'm here to ask you to start thinking about how you can participate in what is the biggest opportunity we have to raise a lot of money for the Dallas County Master Gardener Association, monies that fund our many terrific and important projects. I'm asking you to think about being a vital part of the primary fundraiser we have, the 2026 Garden Tour. I'd like to introduce the members of the Garden Team Tour. A lot of them are sort of sitting right there in the middle. Lisa Lockmiller, Beverly Berry, Mary Calvo, Tamisha Daniels, excellent, Ann Huntington, Barbara McLeod, Susie Rentz, Shay Mayberry, Elaine Webster, Nancy Black, and behind me, Johan Tavares, who has done this beautiful presentation for us. The committee has been meeting since the end of March, and we're very excited to tell you that the upcoming tour will feature 5 private gardens and 2 public gardens, all conveniently located very close to each other in North Oak Cliff, immediately south of downtown. These gardens are all extremely diverse in size and type, and they are owned, curated, and or maintained by members of the Master Gardener Association, and the 2 public gardens are in close partnership with Friends of Oak Cliff Parks. Plus, in addition to these beautiful and unique garden experiences, North Oak Cliff and the Bishop Arts District in particular are full of fantastic, lovely, award-winning restaurants and boutiques and stores, all kinds of things to let us have a great, great fun day. If you've never been to North Oak Cliff, you're in for a real treat and maybe a real surprise. So please get out your calendars and save the date for Saturday, May the 9th from 10 until 4. This is the day before Mother's Day, so it is a great opportunity to celebrate with your friends and family. This event is only successful if everyone joins in and gets involved. So I want you to start thinking about what each of you can do individually to participate in the best way possible. Sponsors, we need you. We need you. If you know of any businesses or organizations or individuals that might want to be a financial sponsor or donate items to the silent auction, please come forward. Speakers, we need you. A great part of this event revolves around how we can reconnect with nature and about the many benefits of gardening, especially when it comes to native plants, water-wise landscapes, and creative solutions for what we know is the great Texas soil and the great Texas heat. Volunteers, we need you. We need you for all kinds of things before the tour, months ahead of time, trying to get these gardens to look their very, very best. And then we need you on the day of the tour to be garden captains, docents, volunteers to help our master gardeners who are producing this, and also the public to navigate and answer questions and all kinds of things like that. We also need publicity and advertising. If you are good at this, if you have skills at this, if you can think of publications and media sources where we could get a big plug-in for this, we need you to come forward and tell us all of the stuff you know. Bottom line, we need you. We need you. We do, we do, we do. So please save the date. Today, we don't have an opportunity to answer questions, but we will be back at the November meeting with lots more information, and we'll be able to answer your questions then. Ann Huntington, the chair of fundraising, today will be at the table at the front of the room with referral and sponsorship forms that you can take. Again, I wanted to get up today to get your brain moving, to get you start thinking about this. It seems like the end of spring is far off, but as you know, it's not. It goes fast, 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 fast. We're very excited about this, and we want you to join us to make this a great, wonderful financial success, but also an educational success and a community success, not only for our community in this room, but all over the Metroplex. Thank you so much.
Our next meeting, November 20th, is a Thursday, and it'll be right here, the same place, so we hope to see you. Ann's got a special plant that she wants to show you and some information that she wants to share with you.
Okay, so I brought a tree that I'd like to give away today. I planted it as a seed in May. Does any of you, do you know what that tree is? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, I got a couple. So it's rich in vitamins cake, C-A-K-N-E. That makes it good right there, right? It also has a number of nutrients. It has calcium, it has iron, it's really high in fiber and potassium. It has antioxidants. Most of the tree can be eaten. Okay, so you can eat the flowers, you can eat the leaves. That's what I do, is I harvest the leaves all the time. I dry them and then powder them. But it's grown that large since May. So it really is a fast grower, and now that it's got a root system, if I put that in the ground, it would really take off. But somebody gets to go home with that. Okay, I saw someone in the back that said they know what it is. What is it? Moringa. It's a moringa tree, yes. So it is a really great tree. I have one grown in my yard. This one I planted up into a pot sooner, so it's a little bit bigger than the one in the yard. Now they might freeze back a little bit, so you might want to put them in a protected area. The one I had growing in my yard in Arizona was 20 feet tall, and it bloomed all the time, and the bees loved it. So it is a really fabulous tree. I also wanted to take a minute to tell you that, you know, along with Claire's talk, we do kind of the same thing. We call it Edible Gardens for All. And we have gotten so much demand in teaching it. It's a series of 5 classes. I know some of you are on the list of master gardeners that will teach those classes, but because we have so much demand to have them all over, I'm asking for other people. If you're interested in being trained to be able to teach those edible gardening classes, please let me know. Also, I'm begging for a few more volunteers for the Dig Summit. Anybody? I need 5 more volunteers. They were short on volunteers. So if you're available Monday, you don't have to come for the whole entire day. I know that's a long day, from 8 until 4:30, but if you can come for even half a day, you can sit and listen to the speakers and enjoy the summit as much as you like. But I do need 5 more people for that. Also, I haven't gotten anybody that is asked to go to the vegetable advanced training or the plant pathology advanced training. So if you're interested in either one of those, we still have 2 spots for each of those. And I am doing it's not the advanced tree training, but it is a Master Gardener class. We're going to do 4 hours of continuing ed tree training. And I'm doing it out in Denton. The Denton tree group asked for me to come out there and teach. So I said, well, you got to give me space for a few of my Master Gardeners. So I have spaces for 4 more at that. And then wanted to let you know too, we have 77 students for the 2026 class. So I need mentors. Okay. Okay, I'm your new horticulture agent if you haven't met me yet. I started May 1st, and I am officed out at RB1, the Urban Farm. So you can come out there and grab me, but I am not always there, so please get a hold of me ahead of time before you just drop by because we are very busy. My email is just my name, so it's ANNE, because I have the Ann with an E, and then you put the dot. And my last name is Lesenne, that's French, LESENNE, at ag.tamu.edu. Okay, so my master's degree is in horticulture. I've been in horticulture my whole entire life, doing all sorts of different fun things, and I love it. And then I'm also a master beekeeper and a master arborist. So my in-depth programs will not just be master gardeners, but I'm also developing a tree in-depth program where we'll be doing some tree training and some turf training, because that's what we get most of our questions on, are trees and turf and what's killing them. So that's what I'll be doing.
According to our bylaws, we are a nonprofit, non-discriminatory educational and charitable association to increase the knowledge of its members and the public utilizing research-based best gardening practices. We know who we are, and we know what is our purpose. So thank you so much to Texas A&M AgriLife Research and Extension Center for having us, and Dallas County AgriLife Extension Service for hosting the Dallas County Master Gardener meeting. As always, we cannot thank you enough for all you do. Thanks so much.